The family feels, but my
squeeze and let that bitch go, that's on me. Ain't trusting no bitch, these niggas is trees. Why these whole thing life is free? Kill my cousin Chewy, got me back on killing. I gave my people everything, why the fuck they stealing? At any time you can leave while I'm back on business. What a love it, I guess that shit was counterfeited.
We have an update for you about a homicide we first told you about yesterday on WLBT.com. The Jackson Police Department has made an arrest in the city's most recent killing. The man on the right side of your screen, Arius Henderson, was arrested around 8:30 last night. The 38-year-old is accused of killing 37-year-old Billy Joe Thedford III early yesterday morning. Now, this happened on Gates Lane. That's right off Raymond Road in South Jackson. Thedford was found lying in his backyard. He had been shot multiple times. Right now, Henderson faces a murder charge as well as a weapons charge. His bond adds up to $1 million for those charges.
Fam, I got a quick question before we start this video. It's 2026. Are we still giving out money to people? Not because we don't want to or we don't have it, but because of...
we not letting people borrow money no more in 2026. Because... obviously, if they asking for it, they ain't got it. You know, people work too hard. Yeah, we ain't letting people borrow money. Yeah, I mean, $20, $30, yeah, but hundreds, thousands, nah.
What come with it when we do it? The most common thing is people not paying you back, let alone paying you back on time. But what about those rare situations where you need your money, despite what the outside might think you have, and the person that owe you genuinely don't have it? Then what? Because at this point, it turned into a situation that's my problems or your problems. And if not, we taking matters into our own hands. And then what? Because don't let it be family or somebody you grew up with or close to. But when you think about it, who else you lending money to? But it seems that might be the situation we have here today. What happened in this video seemed like a young man flashed out over one of those moments. And to be real, it's a very tragic and sad situation. It's not a story to glorify nobody or bash nobody involved. It's really us witnessing one of those real life moments where emotions, damn near pressure, decisions, all collide at once. And honestly, the biggest thing we can do is send prayers and love to this family and try to learn from their mistakes. Within the last 24 hours, it was reported that a man out of Mississippi was unfortunately gunned down in a backyard. And what makes this case even more tragic is authorities later arrested his own cousin in connection to this situation. Almost instantly, social media started reacting, trying to piece together what happened. And one alleged best friend of the victim even spoke out online and shared messages that some people believe might shine light on a possible motive in this case. Today we're going to talk about that, disclose who these people are, as mentioned, pay our respects, break down what allegedly led up to this moment, and most importantly, see what we can learn from this situation. But let's be real, sometimes emotions and pride can get the best of us. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. If you ever wish payday came sooner, this might actually help. It's a banking app called Current with a bunch of useful tools. And one of the main tools lets you access up to 750, better known as Jackson, Mississippi. Fam, today we're going to a place they call Jacktown, better known as Jackson, Mississippi, the capital city of the state, and one of the most talked about cities in the SIP. A lot of people know Jackson for its deep southern culture, Jackson State University, blues music roots, and a history that runs generations deep. But over the years, Jacktown also built a reputation for violence, poverty, and even national headlines surrounding its water crisis.
Not drink the water. That's what officials had to say to the 180,000 residents of Jackson, Mississippi. So what caused the unreliable drinking situation, and how is the state responding to the water crisis? Brew can explain in less than 60 seconds. Residents in the capital city have been under a boil water advisory for over a month. But the situation got even worse after a local reservoir and river flooded. Homes and businesses have been left with little to no water pressure, and what little they do have is making its way out of faucets untreated. In a press briefing, the state's governor says that the current water situation leaves the city.
What does this have to do with the cousins?
Without proper water resources, to fight fires, to reliably flush toilets, and to meet other critical needs. Schools in the area switched to online learning, and the National Guard was brought in to begin distributing bottled water. Officials say that they are preparing for a scenario where Jackson would be without running water for an extended period.
Well, maybe it's something in the water. Cause depending on who you ask, some say the nickname Jacktown simply came from shortening Jackson, while others say it reflects the city's rough reputation in the streets. Either way, when people from Mississippi say Jacktown, everybody already know what city they talking about. And now another tragic situation coming out of that city got social media and the local community reacting heavy. 24 hours ago, a person who we won't identify had went to Facebook and said to follow him. It'll always be the ones around you. Rest in peace, BJ Gotti. Shaking my head. His killer was always around him every day. That man was identified as Billy Joe Thayer III, 37 years old, also known by his rap stage name as BJ Gotti. He wasn't just an artist, he was also a man who had a career. He had his CDL and also drove semi-trucks for S&B Trucking. And the song that guy was referencing to on social media about BJ Gotti was a song titled Up, released 9 months ago, with another artist identified as Nico.
I hate, but that's just some shit that I beat. Better think with your head for a lily. What the fuck make you think you gon' beat me? You a scrub back in school like a TV with hoes in your circle, my nigga, no CD. And your whole team green, no kiwi. Yeah, I said it now, who gon' come see me? Pull a strange your ass on the GP, I don't need.
And the unidentified person mentioned on Facebook that was always with this killer is this man right here. Right behind BJ Gotti, 38-year-old.
He doesn't look very happy, regardless of the fact.
Eris Henderson, aka Boobay, his blood cousin. And according to Jackson Police Department, at around 2:10 p.m. Thursday, May 7, 2026, they responded to a homicide after a passerby reported seeing a man lying in the backyard of a residence on Gates Lane. Public Information Officer Tommy Brown announced the victim as Billy Joe Thayer III, aka BJ Gotti. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to his family. Brown said investigators found BJ Gotti laying on his back and suffering from multiple gunshot wounds behind his home in the 2000 block of Gates Lane. He died at the scene. According to the police, individuals in the area reported hearing gunshots at around 1:29 a.m. Thursday. Brown said authorities later responded at around 8:30 p.m. to the 1800 block of Chadwick Drive when they arrested 38-year-old Eris Henderson, aka Boobay, his blood cousin in connection with the case.
His lip, what's up? Did he beat him up? Maybe he beat him up. Look at his lip. Man, looks swollen. Boobay.
According to police, Boobay was transported to JPD headquarters and was interviewed, but they won't disclose what was said. He was booked into the city holding. The next day he was held on $1 million bond. We might got an idea on what this was about after the best friend of BJ Gotti has spoke up on social media. But first, check out the press conference.
Responded to a call for service regarding a deceased subject or male in the 2000 block of Gates Lane. Upon their arrival, they did discover one deceased black male in the backyard, appeared to have suffered from several gunshot wounds. And that's what we have on the initial part of the investigations, but now I will yield the interview to Captain Obi Wells for further information.
All right, Captain, do you mind telling us, obviously, may not have the identity of the victim just yet or can't share that. Do you have an age range of how old do you think this man is?
He was born in 1988, so I think that puts him around 88.
So you have been able to identify him?
Yes, he has been identified, and as you said, pending next of kin notification, we'll be releasing that information.
Do we think this is a domestic at all? Do we think this was just somebody at the wrong place, wrong time? What do we think happened?
Like I say, we got investigators still on scene gathering information. Everything's preliminary right now. Like I say, we're gathering information, talking to potential witnesses and anybody with information. We're just asking for them to come forward and reach out to the Jackson Police Department. If anyone has information, please contact Jackson Police Department at 601-960-1800.
What was with all the streets being blocked off? I know it happened on that street over there, but they like 3 or 4 streets were blocked off.
Like I said, when we first started responding, we got a different location, and so initially coming in, we wasn't quite sure where the incident occurred at, and so as precautionary, we always like to have our crime scene bigger, and we can always make it smaller at a later time. So we just took precautionary and had a larger crime scene.
Are we looking at 1 suspect, 2 suspects? What are we thinking so far?
It's hard to say. Like I say, as the team on the ground investigating this case, they always do a good job and give closure to these families. So I'm hopeful that we're able to close this case in a timely manner.
Now stay with me, fam, because I don't want to lose you. When this news first broke,
That's what I'm
people on
saying.
social media started
Say
commenting.
he was no, cause yeah, like, okay.
And those comments was an alleged best friend of BJ Gotti. After going back and forth with someone, she disclosed some text messages, alleging those text messages was from Bube. Bube telling her about an encounter with her best friend, far as back and forth, leading to BJ Gotti putting his hands allegedly on Bube for wanting the money back that he owed him. None of your
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why his lip was all swollen, so he beat him up because he didn't have the money.
Ed's best friend said, "There's more to this story in the comment section." She also posted a text message as we mentioned. It read, "Let me get my money from out the streets. And I got you, BJ. I'm really in a hole, but I'm going to figure this shit out. I hate to see us like that because you have been there for me. I don't want the charm back. I'm glad you still had it." Then Bube proceeds to send his location. Then he followed up with, "You really hurt me, man. You tried to fight me, man. I'm just about to give up on life, man. I'm tired, man. My mental not right, and you don't see that. I have a problem, man. Now if we slow down before we..."
See, now that kind of stuff, he's like pouring his heart out to you. He's saying he about to give up. He this and before he did acknowledge, like, you know, I'm in a hole. I don't got it. This and this. This is why you don't give out people money, because, like I said, I always say this: if they had it, my racket keep getting stuck on my lip. If they had it, they wouldn't be asking you for it. But when you let people borrow money, you have to think of it as, hey, I'm not gonna get this money back. You know what I'm saying? You could have just stopped messing with him, put him on a back burner, you know, but you fighting him and doing all that, and he's telling you, like, you know, I'm going through it, I'm tripping, I'm this and this. Like, no one will kill you faster than a scary person. So if he's going through it and he's going crazy and he feel like he's less of a man and he's in a hole and he's this, he should have just, you know, but fighting them and stuff for money that he just, if he doesn't have it, what is fighting him gonna do? So, I mean, I know you may want your money and you may need it real bad, but, you know, if he ain't got it, he ain't got it. Like, well, what you gonna do? And then this happens, because at the end of the day, he is still a man, so he probably feel like, you know, he beat me up, he trying to punk me, treat me like a pussy, this and this and this. You know, I'm gonna kill him. I ain't got nothing else to live for anyway. I'm broke. This probably ain't gonna kick it with me no more. Ain't gonna be around. You never know what people's really going through. One simple conversation could have stopped all this. One simple conversation. Everything gotta be street and gangster. Be a real human.
Read the next message. Seemed like BJ pulled up and he tried to fight him. And they made a fort before Bube had decided to do what he wanted to do. Look at his mugshot. He clearly have a busted lip. Bube continued to say, "I'm losing my mind, bro. I'm not the same Bube. You on the outside looking in. And yes, it's my fault from always running my mouth. But I'm about to change before I lose myself or commit S." And after reading that message, it might be bigger than money. Bube might have ran his mouth about something as well. But then some weird messages allegedly BJ Gotti had sent after screenshotting the message. Obviously your best friend been lying, because I ain't never had any money problems. And how could I not afford tires when my people got a whole tire shop? And on top of that, did he tell you he bust my tires and F my car up? That cost $2,500 on top of me getting a rental for $3,500 until the Rams came back. That cost $3K. The F out of here. You slow as Bube, I see. And at this point, this where it get a little confusing, and I just leave judgment for y'all, but none of us should judge. So at least take this situation for what it is. But people responded to these messages. One person said, "How you get this?" "Because the police have my cousin's phone." The alleged best friend said, "He sent me this Wednesday before his murder." The police also had these messages as well. They was turned over last night. The alleged best friend also wrote, "Well, it was definitely important to the detectives yesterday, and it's obvious I'm not going to post it all here. I got other convos between me and BJ that night. It's too many. I only posted the one in reference of BJ beating on him." Now fam, after reading this back with y'all, that might have been the best friend of Bube. But either way, she exposing more that was released from the local authorities. But there you have it, fam. It's more developed, but I keep you guys updated. But as we head to the conclusion, we do want to say once again, rest in peace to BJ. Love and condolences to his family. We also send 11 prayers to his cousin, man. We always say nobody wins in this situation. And that's definitely the case when it comes to two cousins. Two family members, period. Fam, this was the story of a man in Mississippi was gunned down in his own backyard by his cousin after reports allegedly over money led to a fight, and even some suggest over his cousin running his mouth about what? Guess only time will tell. I'm sending love to this family, period, man. Hopefully we can learn from this. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments.
I feel like you can never win with family and money. All up, it really keep getting stuck in this time. But yeah, it's like I said, it's sad. You know, prayers for him, prayers for the family, because I know this has to suck.